Chapter 641. Here, not only were the monster corpses, but also a considerable mix of other animal remains. The scene would have been chilling enough had it been just the monster bodies arranged in such a manner, but to include the carcasses of other beasts as well was perplexing. What could the first Duke Dane possibly be thinking or intending with this? Could there be a magical formation or something of that sort here? Mages could create formations capable of invoking magic power using magic stones and various artifacts. The mages of the Western Mage Union also made large-scale formations, although individually weaker, to protect their stronghold and conduct research. But if it were something like that, it shouldn't be invisible to my eyes. He then scanned the scattered bodies with a suspicious gaze before shaking his head. He then resumed his walk around the area, focusing particularly on the traces of the beast carcasses. He hoped to grasp the intent behind this arrangement by identifying the types of beasts. However, even for him, who had extensive experience observing wildlife in the mountains, it was challenging to deduce everything from a few decayed bone fragments. There are too few traces compared to the monster carcasses. Upon closer inspection, he realized that whoever brought these bodies here had used various means for preservation. It would have been impossible for the carcass of beasts for a millennium ago to remain to this extent without such efforts. It would have been easier if they were bones of monsters or humans. Either squinting his eyes, which started to throb slightly, stared intently at the remains of the beast with long horns. He strained his mind, trying to deduce whether the decaying horn fragments belonged to a deer or a reindeer when his gaze inadvertently drifted to the monster carcass lying nearby. Now that I look at it, there are horns on the monster carcasses as well. Wait a freaking second. Was he trying to prove that the monsters were animals first and something happened and they turned into monsters? Because Duke Dane had this question, where did these monsters come from? Because these monsters came, everything was all messed up. Somewhat, the horns seem strikingly similar in shape. Horns are among the parts that preserve well even after death. With a bit of time, he could confirm the astonishing similarity in size and shape of the horns on both carcasses. Easy to recall the numerous monsters he had encountered. Monsters typically had no consistent form, with a wide variety of types making a complete catalogue an endless task. Yet, he realized there was a commonality in their bizarre appearances. Sometimes they resemble other animals, insects, or even plants. Take for instance, the great Pathomet he had recently defeated, or even the long-tailed gumbo named Pen Pen. The creature had an appearance that defied all norms, but its disproportionately large mouth was notable. Its long curled tongue used for snaring prey and the barbed tail resembled the chameleons found in the south. Of course, its smooth fur was nothing like a chameleon's, and in some aspects it even reminded him of a giant caterpillar, though only in certain parts. Wait, that sounds like a chimera project right there. And what about the winged monsters? The wings commonly seen on monsters usually resembled those of birds or bats. Either had never encountered any that flew with wings, unlike the typical concept of wings. Either had always thought the similarities were merely coincidental and had never pondered deeply on this point until now. He looked down at the two sets of horns for a long time, lost in thought. Could it be that the reason why the first Duke Dane alternated the carcasses of beasts and monsters here was related to this peculiar commonality he sensed? It was still too early for certainty, yet somehow he felt an intuition stirring within him. A faint sense that his current line of thought was not far from the truth sharply emerged in his mind. Now it seems we have seen enough. Everyone, come this way. Soon after, Kishir called them over. He stood by the carcass at the center. Shall we share what we have found? Who wants to go first? I will, Udir said, raising his hand lightly. Kishir, noticing something in his eyes, smiled intriguedly. Alright, speak. I haven't found traces of the first Duke Tane. However, I believe I understand some of his intentions. Both of you must have already noticed that there are as many ordinary beast carcasses mixed here as there are monster carcasses. As either expected, neither Kishir nor Nathan Zuckerman seemed particularly surprised by this revelation. Yes, I have noticed that too, Kishir acknowledged. From my examination, there appears to be at least one physical commonality between the beast and monster carcasses lying side by side. Either the horns are similar or the position and length of 4 long fangs. Although DK makes complete verification difficult, I believe most others would be similar as well. Kishir and Nathan Zuckerman's gazes turned to the surrounding carcasses. Nathan's eyes narrowed slightly. I did think there were many carcasses of similar size placed side by side, but horns and fangs. May I take a look myself? Of course, follow me. Either showed them a few examples that were visually easier to spot commonalities among the ones he had found here. After examining several carcasses, Nathan Zuckerman, standing in front of the horn fragments Either first observed, finally nodded in agreement. They indeed bear a striking resemblance. I hadn't paid attention to such details before, but it seems like an undeniable commonality. The fact that monsters often have unpredictable forms and sometimes bear body parts resembling other flora and fauna in unusual places is well known to those familiar with hunting them. However, seeing animal and monster carcasses with directly similar features placed side by side like this is a first for me. They seem even more alike than I thought. Nathan Zuckerman from the Paleta Knights, experienced enough in hunting to create their own monster compendium, slowly nodded his head. His agreement with User's observation and his evident astonishment were clearly discernible in that small gesture. I believe, he began, that these corpses here were deliberately chosen by the first Duke Tane, each bearing body parts strikingly similar to its own. It seems highly probable he wanted to leave behind something he discovered while studying these monsters. Rather than wanting to leave it behind, it might be more accurate to say he wanted to show it to someone who would eventually come back. The act of merely leaving research results is quite different from wanting to communicate an intention to someone else. Kishir, who had been quietly observing everything, finally spoke. His eyes sparkled with evident delight at Uder's discovery, and he parted his lips in a smile that seemed too bright for such a grim setting. The deliberate placement of beasts and monsters with resembling parts, as Uder suggests, clearly indicates an intention to emphasize their similarities. Fascinating, truly an interesting discovery. His smile was brighter than seemed fitting for such a place. But what did it matter? Brightness was preferable to darkness. As he was caught in that smile, Kishir smoothly began his praises again. It must be because you are well acquainted with both monsters and beasts that you are able to make such a swift discovery. Someone like me, who only eats what others have caught, would have taken much longer to realize. If you say so, what does that make me, who is in charge of hunting for the Duke? Nathan Zuckerman protested softly. His tone was serious, but the protest was not heartfelt. It was only today that User realized Nathan could joke like this with Kishir. It's just that I happened to be near such conspicuous corpses, which expedited my discovery. Both of you would have realized it soon enough. So let's end the embarrassing compliments. Oh dear, even giving sincere praise is difficult. After saying this, Kishir turned his head towards Nathan Zuckerman. So Nathan, what have you discovered?